via the chat. So feel free to submit your questions as we go through this. I'm going to talk for about 10 or 15 minutes on some of the details of the challenge, and then we'll open it up to questions. So a little bit of background about RISE. We were formed, we're a non-profit, we're formed out of a part of a HUD grant given to the Commonwealth of Virginia. We were funded at $5 million, and we're charged with developing new, or having developed new innovations around resilience. I'll explain how we're going to do that. The issue is that this local region is affected by many of the threats that sea level rise affects. And so there's an economic development opportunity here around resilience for the Hampton Roads region and for coastal communities around the world. These regions are affected with sea level rise, with aging infrastructure, as well as various other social impacts that are causing some threats to the region. We want to use the Hampton Roads region of Southeast Virginia as a laboratory for innovation around coastal resilience challenges. We have the largest naval base in the world. We've one of the largest ports here. So it's taken very seriously that we want to mitigate these threats, address and mitigate them. And there's a business opportunity around it. We're interested in developing new businesses and growing jobs around these new ideas. So we have that opportunity. So RISE is a nonprofit. We're located in Hampton Roads, Southeast Virginia. RISE is a broker. We're not doing the actual innovation, the technical development. We are finding solutions through people like you. We're providing access to funding, and we're providing access to customers, first customers for these new innovations. So how are we going to do that? Well, we've launched the RISE Coastal Community Resilience Challenge. We have identified 5 topic areas that need innovation in the resilience field. We found those by meeting with subject matter experts, both nationally and internationally, as well as city employees, and what are the threats here to a city, to a coastal community. The idea is, if you can address topics, problems in these 5 areas, we can then, and demonstrate the solutions, we can then take them to the global community. These five topics are on the screen now: the water management, data analytics, viability of buildings, establishing critical utilities, and reconnecting neighborhoods. If you go to our website with the URL at the top there's a lot of detail and information about just what's entailed in these topics. We're looking for solutions, people to work in these areas. We're also looking for areas for solutions that cross-cut these 5 areas. So more than one of those areas, we're interested in that. Each one of these topic areas has specific Hampton Roads use cases, meaning the problems are demonstrated and demonstrable here in our local area, and we have data sets available to support any technical development addressing these. What we also want to do is, this is not an R&D project. We also want to have the technologies demonstrated here in this local area, actual solutions. So full-size, full-scale demonstrations are going to be required. So this is our challenge prize. We're opening this up to the global community to address these 5 areas, to address the specific cases to this geographical area, and to actually build and demonstrate these solutions. So how do we get this mechanized? How do we make this work? Well, there's several things we have to do. First of all, we have to get some teams and partners. So we're looking for applicants, small businesses, nonprofits, industry, and universities. We partnered with a group out of MIT at Solve, which provide us a global community of applicants. But we're also reaching out, and that's what we're doing here today. We're reaching out to people who want to work in these areas and who want to develop and grow businesses. In order to make this work, we obviously need some funding. So we're looking at several areas. We are standing up an innovation fund in November to provide funding to teams working on solutions. We're also working with other investment groups, private investment, who can also provide money for this enterprise. We're also going to be reaching out to philanthropies to help support too. The other thing that we want to provide is customers. We're working with the local cities to help them understand how they could procure the innovations that are developed here. Local stakeholders too, I mentioned the port, but local hospital networks, the Navy, we're talking to those. And we also want to give the opportunity to solutions, successful solutions, to scale up and go to a global market, and we're working with various international organizations on that. So that's our challenge prize as we go through this. We're going to have a timeline here. Let me give you some of the deadlines. Submissions are due to the challenge by the end of September. The challenge submissions are done via the web. We have links to the website where the submissions have to be filled in. They have to be done by 30th of September. We will be judging in October and announcing the finalists on October the 31st. After that, we open up our innovation fund in November, going forward to then allow finalists that were selected in October to pitch to this innovation fund. What we're going to do is the submission at the end of September is really a business idea. So it's what this business looks like, the size of the market, who the teams are, what the solution is that they're solving. We want to take that for those finalists and make it into a program that we can then fund with specific deliverables and performance metrics. So we will spend 2 months between November and January working with those finalists to refine their pitch, to help them with the underwriting and give them some coaching and some technical assistance as required. Pitches will be made in February to our investment committee, and the selections for funding will be announced in March. The amounts of funding will be between $150,000 and $750,000, and we will make them in the form of either advancements or reimbursable dollars. And there's several steps that we need to go through with the finalists to build that project up. So they will be announced, and hopefully we can kick off the work in the March and April timeframe. These funds are non-dilutive, so we're not taking an equity stake in this, and we can give the loans and the grants. So is the money, if all the deliverables are met, the money is basically free, and they can go on to other investment opportunities and developing their innovations. So in summary, we have a lot of information on our website, on the URL that's shown there. There are documents as well. Please feel free to contact us. You can contact us by email or contact us by phone. Our numbers are on the website. But you're open to discuss this with us. If you have an idea and you want to know if it fits, contact us and we'll help you out. We are having workshops and counseling sessions. If you needed some business mentoring, that is open to you at no cost. It's also no cost to submit to the challenge for September 30th. So go ahead and start your submission. We can't provide business support and mentoring unless you start your submission. So go ahead and do that. And as always, if we can be of any help, please feel free to contact us. So I'll turn it over to Katarina with some questions that may be coming in.
Yes, thank you, Paul. So let's kick it off for questions. And first one that comes to mind is about the eligibility. So is anyone eligible to apply to this challenge?
So the funds are available to small businesses as per the SBA definition, or nonprofits. Also, the companies have to have a DUNS number and be registered on sam.gov. We cannot fund individuals, and so you have to be a company. You don't have to be a company to submit by September 30th. That can be teams of groups of individuals and people. But the first thing you'll do if you're selected as a finalist in November is to form an entity and get a DUNS number and register on SAM.gov. That's the basic requirement to receive these funds.
So is the challenge open to foreign companies as well?
Yeah, as long as you can get a DUNS number and be registered in SAM.gov, then anyone is welcome to take part.
What do you mean by demonstration in the Hampton Roads? How is it going to look like?
So what needs to happen is whatever the product or service that you are developing to solve the issue, that has to be demonstrated. That work has to be done in this local area. That's required for our funding. So the local area is in Southeast Virginia. We have 1.7 million people. We have seven cities grouped together. You can work in any of these areas. We can provide that funding. But the work and the service or product has to be demonstrated here. Companies don't have to relocate here and establish their headquarters here, but the work has to be done in this local area.
So are financial products that have impact on improving resiliency a relevant topic area as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The key to the relevance here is you have to be working in those 5 topic areas of resilience, plus it has to be a viable business opportunity, an opportunity that will either establish and or grow a business around this idea. So and anything goes. It could be a product, it could be a financial service, it could even be a workforce development project, a way to produce and develop new jobs around these ideas.
Can you talk a little bit more about those workshops and meetups and any opportunities for the applicants to enhance or refine their application?
Yes, so RISE is providing at no cost to the entrants up to 6 hours of business mentoring. We're being supported by ODU and their business school to provide this support. So if you need help, if you have an idea, you have a technical idea or a product or a service, you're not quite sure what that business would look like or how you would structure it or how you would actually go out and capture the market, we can provide you with some help on that. It's very often the case that innovators, they may have the technical side of things addressed, but how to actually build it into a business is a whole other thing. So we want to help with that. So you just have to let us know that you need that help. Plus, you have to start your application on the website.
So what is the deadline to finish these projects?
So all of this money needs to be spent. The end of the project is September 2022. So ideally, we'd like to see projects that are in the 1 to 2 year time frame. But we'd certainly be interested in if things can be done shorter, or if they need to take longer. We need to understand that.
So how has been the response so far?
Great. We've got over 60 teams so far. I have to say, in various levels of readiness, but that's okay. People are starting to think. They see the opportunity. I think they understand the needs in these different topic areas, and some of them, as I mentioned, are developing innovations that span 2 or 3 of these areas, and that's great. This really has to be a multidisciplinary effort in order to be successful.
So is this one-time challenge, or are you planning to replicate this future?
So this is our first year. We plan on repeating this next year with opening up a new challenge next April, running it through to October, and then reopening the Innovation Fund. We'll probably pick some new topics, or maybe we'll find some of our topics this year that need a little bit more work. So we plan on repeating this next year and the year after.
And so if I apply this year and I'm not selected, I can reapply next year. I'm not prevented from doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can apply in successive years. You can even apply, if you are successful this year, you can also apply again next year. You just can't propose the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And so if I'm a big company and I am obviously not eligible for the funding from the RISE Resilience Innovation Fund, can I still get access to the region as a living laboratory if I want to test new product, develop new product line, take it to the market?
Yeah, absolutely. We would welcome that. We just can't provide our funds to large companies to do this. But yeah, we would welcome larger companies to come into this area. We would help them. We've already helped 3 or 4 companies to set up some infrastructure and test it here. So we would welcome that. Small businesses can use large companies as part of their projects. If it's a reasonable cost and we understand why they need them, maybe it's for installation, maybe it's for some capability that they don't have. It can't be the majority of the project, but large companies can support small businesses.
So do you provide any data assistance to the teams so that their solutions are really, tailored to the problems that the region has?
Yeah. So because we have what we call these Hampton Roads use cases that are established here, we also have a fair amount of supporting technical data. We put some of that on our website. We've had requests of specific data from several teams, and which we've met, and that data is available to everyone. That some of it's to do with stormwater infrastructure, flooding maps, etc. That's available to everyone. If there are specific data needs that come up as part of your development, let us know, preferably by email in as much detail as possible, and we will find that data. We can't ask the city to do any work for us, but if they have the data sets, we'll make them available. And just be advised, if the more specific you can be in requesting data, the better. It's very hard to get the busy city people to respond to very open-ended questions. So the more specific, the easier it is for us.
And so it seems like even though RISE is giving out grants, you are still treating them as investment, right? You will be on the website. You say that there will be a due diligence review and underwriting review. Why is that?
Because we want the innovation opportunities to open to other investors. We want these to be investment quality opportunities. So although we're using government money and we'll hopefully will be forgiving all of the funding as the deliverables are met, we want other investment groups to step in, other private investment groups. So we want these opportunities to be good enough to find other money after our money's been used up. That's a key, and so they have to be good, viable business opportunities.
So if I go through your vetting process, I will be well positioned for angels funding and those type of.
We've modeled our vetting process and our investments committee process. We've modeled it on basically private investment processes, due diligence processes. So if you pass ours, or if you get a favorable response to our process, you should get favorable response from other investment groups.
And so one more question here. So it seems like there are already solutions to some of these topic areas that RISE is focusing on: water management, right? Data analytics. So why do we need challenge like this? Why do we need innovation in the space?
So what seems to be the case is that some or many solutions in these areas are either too expensive to operate. Some of them don't work very well. Some of them degrade over the years. There's still a lot of leeway, a lot of opportunity to address some of these issues. So it's not always possible to put a big pump in a city and pump the water out, and it gets to be very expensive, and very often, especially with an older city, the infrastructure can't support it. So there are solutions out there in many of these areas, but some of them don't work, and some of them aren't suitable to a coastal community such as Hampton Roads. So we're trying to identify these areas, and they have been identified so far by many of the teams. And that's where the opportunity lies.
So we have exhausted all the questions. So unless there are more questions from the audience, Paul, any concluding words?
No, but feel free, contact us with any questions. There's no stupid questions. Believe me, we've fielded a lot, and they've all been great. So you're welcome to give this some thought. Time is closing in here. You've really got 5 weeks, and the submission is quite detailed, specifically in terms of the technical solution as well as the business opportunities. So feel free to get started straight away. There's no cost, and come back to us with some help, with some questions. We'll help you any way we can. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.